Hello and welcome to episode number 50 of the All Things Sports Podcast. My name is Zach Bischoff, and I'm joined by...
Danny Shanholzer.
All right, thank you very much, Daniel. Can you believe we were at 50 episodes already? Just your thoughts on that here briefly before we begin. And then I'll get into our reason for our little absence here.
Yeah, man. It is crazy to me that we are at 50, man. I always say time flies when you're having fun, and I just it's hard to believe, but I'm just super thankful to be a part of it, man. And just, yeah, man.
Yeah, it's been great to have all of you come along on this journey with us. We're sitting at just under 600 downloads on the audio side of things here, so we're extremely thankful for all of you who have been out there listening. And a couple of us have been leaving, well, a couple of Danny's family members have been leaving ratings. You know who you are, so thank you very much. And I also want to get into the reason we have been absent here for the last couple of weeks here due to I have had some unrelenting technical issues with the thing that makes this thing run, my computer. So if my computer decides to blue screen and I drop out, well, then I will do my best and get back. I'm not quite sure what the issue is, but that is what has been delaying us from ultimately doing this episode, because we wanted to do this weeks ago, but then, severe weather, power outage, and things of that nature. So we are back, and hopefully everything decides to behave. All right. Excuse me. For our 50th episode, we're going to talk about, first of all, the men's national championship, which took place, I believe, Monday night, I believe. Yes. It was between San Diego State and UConn. Danny, your thoughts on that game here?
Yeah, Zach, for sure, man.
Excuse me. Sorry.
No, you're right. I always say, Zach, March Madness, it starts off like very frenetic, tons of games going on, and I feel like when you get down, I mean, it makes sense because there's less teams. But when you get down to the Final Four of the Elite Eight, the games kind of sneak up on you. So I was, it just always kind of cool how late it gets early in a sense because, it's obviously we got down to two teams, man, and UConn, man, that was a dominating performance to say the least, man. They Dan Hurley's squad really just played the whole tournament very well, man. They trailed in like the last 3 games or something for a total of like 5 minutes and 22 seconds, which is unbelievable. That's quick math here. That's like 120 minutes of basketball. To only trail for 5 minutes and 22 seconds is very impressive, man. And I mean, credit to San Diego State too, man. They pulled out their road to the championship has been quite different than UConn's because they had a couple of 1-point wins against Creighton and Florida Atlantic. And Zach, how about the Owls of Florida Atlantic?
Yes, that was my next question. Please proceed. That was my next question.
Coming in as a number 9 seed, Zach, and it dude, I mean, just credit to them, man. Dusty May had them playing some really good basketball. Just because the thing with them is just they played so hard, man. They really just left everything they had on the court, and I mean, it's just crazy, Zach. And this is why I love March Madness, talking about how many teams there are and just how many opportunities there are for teams. Last year, I believe the Final Four was Kansas, Duke, Villanova, and another one seed along those lines. But this year, I mean, there were no one seeds in the Final Four. It's just crazy. San Diego State, Florida Atlantic, UConn, and Miami. Man, I mean, that's just awesome to see how it can change so quickly. Um, and it really just comes down to the team that puts all the games together, which was UConn, man. And I mean,
Mhm.
again, just they were so dominant. Adama Sunoco played unbelievably. And it was just when a team like UConn like works so hard to get there, it's just awesome to see it all pay off. You know what I mean?
Mhm. Yeah, I actually didn't watch many of UConn's games because all the late start times. That's another thing I don't like. The late a 9:20 p.m. Eastern Standard Time start
Yeah,
to the national championship game. I am not very happy about
that's definitely too late. I think. I
because
mean,
I quite frankly forgot it was on.
yeah, and Zach, that's another thing too. You think about the players, right? National championship. You've been playing for so long, been practicing for so long, um, and all you want to do. We're athletes. All we want to do when it's game day is play the game. We don't like waiting around. I feel for the
Yeah.
athletes that had to wait around like that. You know what I mean?
Yes, we both as hockey players can both attest to that particular statement. As I hate waiting around.
Yeah.
Anyway, okay, now we're going to talk about the XFL. I don't remember what week we were in when we last did our episodes. I'm going to say week 6. We're going to do week 6 and 7 as I try and present my screen. I apologize if my screen is grainy as we are trying a new layout here. So, not that one. That one. Need to make it bigger. All right. So, these 20 Seattle Dragons, Sea Dragons, excuse me, over the Orlando Guardians 26-19. St. Louis Battlehawks over Vegas Vipers 29-6. I can't say I'm surprised at that. San Antonio Brahmas over the Arlington Renegades 15-9. I like my Brahmas, and also Houston and DC. DC defeated Houston 37-26. Moving into week 7. Well, yeah, no, hang on. Moving into week 7 now. CLC Dragons over Arlington 24-15. San Antonio Vegas. Vegas defeats San Antonio 26-12. And a big upset here. Orlando over DC 37-36. And St. Louis over Houston 24-15. We're going to take a look at the XFL standings now. So we have the Defenders at 6-1. This is the XFL North Division. 6-1 for the Defenders, 5-2 for the Battlehawks, 5-2 for the Sea Dragons as well, and Vegas Vipers at the bottom with the record of 2-5. In the South, we have the Roughnecks at 4-3, Renegades at 3-4, Brahmas at 2-5, and the Guardians at 1-6. Danny, your thoughts on week 6 and 7 of XFL action?
Yeah, for sure, Zach. I mean, where to start, right, man? I mean, you obviously have the big upset for Orlando over DC. I'm not sure. I'm not sure who saw that one coming. I mean, DC almost pulled it out. It was 37-36, 36 Orlando. But Zach, I mean, how about teams like the Seattle Sea Dragons, man? Started off 0-2 and have since rattled off 5 straight wins, man. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
that is very impressive. And Zach, what has happened? What has happened to the Houston Roughnecks, man? Again, started out 4-0 and now have lost 3 in a row. I mean that is just that just kind of the you talk about kind of chunks of the season, and it what it really comes down to is how like you obviously are going to have some bumps in the road. I mean that's in any sport you're going to have bumps in the road, but how do you respond to those bumps in the road? So I'll be very interested to see how Houston can rebound from starting off 4-0 and losing 3 in a row. That's
Mhm.
not easy. But I mean, hopefully they can channel their inner Seattle here, who started off
Yes.
0-2 and rattled off 5 straight. Man, curious to hear your thoughts, Jack.
Yeah, and I'm just looking at the Roughnecks schedule here. So week 8 this week they play the San Antonio Brahmas in San Antonio, and next week they play Vegas at home. So those should be two relatively easy wins for um, Houston. I'm not worried. I still think they're going to go to the playoffs. I mean, let's take a look at the standings here again. Um, Nitro, we may need to split this episode into 2 parts, unfortunately, due to the amount of stuff we have to cover and the amount of time that we have, which is not much. So I think that both of these teams, DC and St. Louis, will get in. But I feel like the Sea Dragons could also get in, but top 2 from each division, so they'll be a good team that misses the playoffs here.
Yeah,
So
that's true. And dude, I mean, it is crazy that the third team right now in the North Division is 5-2, missing out on a playoff spot if the season ended today, and the second team in the South Division is 3-4. Man, I mean
yeah,
that is kind of crazy. You think about like in college football, kind of where like a team is like UCF a couple years ago went 13-0, Zach, and just because of I guess I mean that's a different just because of who they played, they weren't able to advance to the college football playoff. But I mean, I think that's kind of similar because you can only control how you do, and Seattle has certainly done that these last 5 games. You can't control what the other division is looking like, and I
right.
think that's definitely hard, especially when you got only the top 2 advancing, like you said,
Yeah.
Zach.
Yeah, I mean, the South Division looks like was it the NFC East a couple years ago? Where
Yeah,
almost,
where it's like every team's like 7-9, like
yeah,
every team's 7-9 and still has a chance.
yeah. I mean, the Renegades. I mean, top 2 right now are Houston and Arlington. I still think Houston is a very good team. They're a very, very good team under Mr. Wade Phillips, who is like 80 years old. But he's I mean, he's a good coach there. So I mean, it's yeah, it'll be interesting to see how the playoff picture. And here's the. So, you can't read this. Okay. Sorry about that. A little too pixelated. But anyway, so we unfortunately will need to pause here. This is going to be part 1 of the 50th episode. Unfortunately, we have a lot more to cover, but we do not have a ton of time right now. We might be able to get together later on this evening and do part 2. Danny and I will communicate with each other after the show to coordinate that. But for now, Danny, any final thoughts for the people for the moment?
No, Zach. I know it was this is a little quick one, obviously. But yeah, like Zach said, it's awesome that we've gotten to 50 episodes, and hopefully when we can do a part 2,
Yes.
it'll be awesome as well.
Yeah. We'll hopefully look to do part 2 maybe later on this evening. It's just a little somewhere to be a little bit
Yeah,
here. So
no worries.
we will talk. So part 2, I think, is going to be the USFL, the Masters tournament, Pirates, and talk about the Pens and their windy road to the playoffs. So for now, I am Zach Bischoff. He is Danny Shanholzer, and we will see you. Hold on. We will see you next time right here on the All Things Sports Podcast.